What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another one today. Um, I just I just heard a very powerful statement from a guy I like to listen to sometimes, J.J. Douglas, and he said it's easier to trauma bond than it is to trauma work. That's very profound. In my personal life, I got this, very special relationship that's brewing, and not to say too much, but it's challenging me. It's challenging me in a very foundational way, and it is about the the traumas, the trauma bonding versus the trauma work. I know that in this point in my life, like I was telling her, I was like, as hard as it can be for us to navigate certain situations, I know that in this place in my life, I'm giving myself the chance. I'm giving myself the opportunity for love, and I deserve love. So it's like I'm not I'm not standing for and settling for just altercation, trauma bonding, like we can deal with each other because we both, you know, got our shit. And sometimes, hey, that's the best. Sometimes it's a time for that. I feel like there's a time for it. There's a lot of places, a lot of ways I couldn't make it through my path without those relationships where we kind of just trauma bonded. We went through similar things and we were in a similar place. We didn't want to go too far. And I think those relationships can be really, really cool, really needed at times. It can be a sense of relief. But in this chapter of my life, man, I'm as hard as love is, man, I feel like I deserve love and I wanna love, you know what I'm saying? I wanna give love. I wanna give and be loved, and that's in my friendships, that's in my deep relationships, that's in my business relationships, that's in my personal, private or romantic relationships. You know what I'm saying? So I'm realizing that that's gonna be a fight. There's gonna be a fight to communicate. There's gonna be a fight. Like I told her to choose us against the problem, especially when feeling triggered. Because when you're triggered, I'm protecting my self-preservation, and it's smart to do. You gotta know when to set that boundary, when to know the difference between when you can go into a situation with the person you're with, when y'all can navigate it together, and when you have to just choose yourself. And it can be very hard to navigate, man. And that's why, like, a part of me selfishly, and I don't want to do the work. That I ain't gonna say I don't want to do the work, because I'm willing to do the work. It's just the boundary for me lies in building my life, my personal life, my finances. You know what I'm saying? Building the man that I am. And I only want situations where I can build, or I can continue to stay on my path and build within that. You know what I'm saying? So if I feel like I can't, if I feel like it doesn't serve that, then it's only a matter of time before there is either significant space, distance developed, or just going separate ways. And to my ladies that watches this, like, a man that's on his purpose, where God has given him a vision for his life, low-key is gonna be like that. I know some women have this thing, because I've heard this a lot. Well, maybe it's easy for you to walk away, or you don't love me like I love you. And that's not the case. With us as men, part of our life in being a man, really graduating to manhood, really operating in the man energy. You know what I'm saying? No longer boy. You know, things matter to you. Integrity, provision, your relationship with God, what you are doing here, your purpose, you know, moving with a purpose and intention. You know, once you get into that hemisphere as a man, and you know, it's like that. We can love the shit out of you, and also have to bear not being with you, or you know what I'm saying, and not moving with you if God says so, or if it's out of alignment with our path and the truth. You know, that doesn't mean that you're not loved, because a lot of times you are loved. But men have, I ain't gonna say men have to, but it's like we endure pain all day, every day. We endure pain, we endure pressure, and we alchemize it. You know, but we also human, you know what I'm saying? And we just, you know, we want that love. We want a safe space to be ourselves and unpack some time. And it's rare that we get there, you know. It's rare that we get there. So, but, you know, duty, our purpose, our alignment with God comes first, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, that's just what it is, you know. I wish it was more that understood that, but yeah, this message was just kind of like, you know, piggybacking off of what J.J. Douglas said. Shout out to that man. If y'all haven't checked out J.J. Douglas, that brother is profound, man. His insight, his wisdom is very powerful, man. Go over there and check him out. I believe he on YouTube, but I always see him on Facebook. J.J. Douglas, man. But yeah, he was saying how it's easy to trauma bond, but not the trauma work. At this point in my life, I'm doing the trauma work, man. I no longer want traumas to be the ceiling of how far I can go within my relationship. You know, I will not allow trauma to set the standard for my life anymore. You know, I choose love. I choose to have love. I choose to be loved. And I choose to love with an open heart, you know, because I deserve it, man. I deserve it. And you deserve it too. You deserve it too, you know. So the question is, will we choose it for ourselves? You know. So, you know, a little personal one today, but you know, that's the video. So if you, whether today ends up being a good day or a rough day, whether you are struggling to make ends meet or you are at the pinnacle of your success, either way, the greatest place that you can come from is right where you are. You know, not perfect, just real. Feel me? I wish you peace, love, and abundance every single day, especially on the days that it rain. With that being said, I am signing out. Peace.